धन्यवाद। Justice M.K. Sharma, former judge of the Supreme Court, now the chairman of the Vasundhara Water Tribunal, Chief Justice A.K. Goel. I wouldn't take the individual names of all the judges because there is not much time. All the honorable judges of the Guwahati High Court and their gracious wives, the Minister for Social Welfare, Mr. Akan Bora, Justice Rishikesh Roy, Justice Amitabh Roy, the Advocate Generals of Arunachal Pradesh, Dr. Saraf, and the Advocate General of Mizoram, Mr. Vishwanath De, and all those friends who are here today, the police authorities, Mrs. Kabir. It's at this point of time in the program, we should have been hearing German beats. Unfortunately, we are 1 hour behind time. So it's better to keep to just small little basic things because basically everything has been said. After Mr. Kailash after Mr. Kailash Satyarthi's impassioned speech, there is really little to say, and that has been supplemented by all the speakers. I just want to thank the people who organized this seminar, who organized this conference, for inviting me here today to be part of something which I am very impassioned about myself, to be part of awareness, making people aware. It's late in the evening, and when we walked in, the hall was absolutely full. Even now, the hall is not absolutely empty. It's quite full. It's good to see that there are people. It's good to see there are people who really feel from the bottom of their hearts for a cause. And this cause is a cause of children and the cause of those unfortunate children who have been caught in a peculiar war, not of their own making. That's because of the circumstances in which they have been born. Child labor is essentially confined to a certain section of people who are economically weak, who do not have that kind of economic cushioning, that kind of financial cushioning that can help the child and his family, to help the child to educate itself and grow to its full potential. We have laws, as has been pointed out. Right to education is a fundamental right. You can see more or less a connection between the Child Labour Abolition and Regulation Act of 1986 with Article 21A of the Constitution, when it is said, first of all, you cannot have children working in any hazardous factories, mines or any environment below the age of 14 years. Here you have education up to the age of 14 years. There's a little gap between 14 and 18. Children, by definition, I was extremely happy to hear the fact that people are aware of the Declaration of Child Rights of the United Nations, 1959, aware of the Convention of Child Rights of 1989. One particular rule was missed out possibly, and that is the Beijing rules. The Beijing rules provide a complete set of how children are to be treated and how children are to be given their rights. Today there are a number of children here who has taken up this work. The enthusiasm with which they have come in and said Inqilab, it means they want a revolution. They want a change. They want a change in their lives. I'm extremely happy to have been part of this. As Neil Armstrong said when he took one step on the moon, One step on the moon, a huge leap for mankind. Today also, this one step in the direction, in this participating in this walk of abolition of child labor and trafficking of women and children, I only hope and pray that this will go a long way in not only making people aware in this part of the world, in this part of the country, but everywhere else where children are trafficked and taken. Certain instances have been given. I know of many of them because my wife, she is fully involved in this kind of activity, and she has been very closely connected with people like Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, Bhuvan Ribhu. These are people who have committed themselves and given themselves to this cause of trying to eliminate not only child labor, but to make children grow up in a situation where they can develop to their full potential. Just one little thing before I stop, and that is, I would not only like to bring it to the notice of this government, but the notice of the governments all over the country and the central government. You have schemes, you have provisions for recovering children, you have provisions for even penalty, for penalizing people who have violated these norms and laws. But please, as was said by Justice Sharma said it, so did Justice Goel and Justice Amitava Rai. You recover, but then you must give them a place where they can then fall back on. For example, a girl child may be the victim of something or the other. Now, when she attains the age of 18, where does she go after that? If she's not been allowed to stay in a home of safety, you have to provide that infrastructure so that people who are saved, who are brought back from the brink of disaster, that they do not go back to that kind of lifestyle anymore. You have to give them that cushion, that social cushion, plus financial cushion. A small thing. Each child, when it is born in a family in India, especially in the rural areas, or even in the cities, where families are very poor, is a potential bread earner. A potential bread earner. A boy doing this, say, manual work, girls being trafficked for other kinds of work, working as maids. Now, this kind of thing, this is something which has to be taken care of by society. We ourselves will have to see that these children, once they are brought out of this kind of the clutches of people, that they can be rehabilitated and given the right to education which they are entitled to, the right to other things that they are entitled to. Recovery is not enough. That to provide them with a shelter, provide them with a home, provide them with sufficient food, provide them with some kind of training, even vocational training. Look after their hygiene. Girls need a lot of care between the ages of 13 and 18 and 20 and 21 to see that they get that proper care. Once this is done, I think then we would have gone a long way in trying to help society, trying to help these children. If a child as a potential earner is taken out, the family may not be in a position to look after itself financially. That's a reality. It's a reality in certain houses where the parents may not be able to work at all, may be old. And here is a person, a child, who is a potential bread earner. All right, you take him out, put him into school. But I'd request the governments to see that the families are also provided with some kind of economic assistance. There are programs, there are schemes. These have to be put into practice. If you can give an alternative, you can succeed. If you don't, however much we may try, we can only make a little dent in the problem that we are faced with today. Friends, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm extremely happy that I have been part of a little bit of a program to make people aware of the problems. Maybe the solutions will not be here today, Maybe the solutions may not come in, say, a number of years, but yes, you have made a dent. And if I know Bachpan Bachao Andolan, they will be carrying on this activity all over the country. And that's what a promise has been made. And there are other organizations as well who are engaged in this kind of activity. And I'm certain that with the spread of awareness, even the governments, even the departments of social welfare, child development, they can also be made to realize that we have to be there for the children and we have to provide them with that necessary succor so that they can be. People say, carpet weaving, embroidery work, these are things which children with nimble fingers can do very well. But that is not their work. They have a right to do things as they want to. They have a right to grow and blossom. And it is our responsibility and our duty. The judiciary can help to an extent. When things are brought to the notice of the court, the judiciary does something. Like, for example, Bachpan Bachao Andolan's, that case that I spoke about, the circus case, where children are taken and they're treated. And in many ways, while training, there are all kinds of things done. The matter was brought to the notice of the court, court gave orders, and thereafter they were rescued, and now they are in a rescue home. That is what the court can do. But what you need to do as citizens of India, and including me, as an ordinary citizen of India, we have to change our mindsets, and try and see that we can put into place, and we can make the schemes which are available work. Thank you.